on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
It hurt me to see a person get on TV and say we're responsible for a human life. How do you approach that? How do you deal with that?
An ex-employee of a Fargo bus company is speaking up to defend himself. This week we ran a whistleblower story on a 78-year-old woman who died 2 days after she fell off a cot on a bus. The man who was driving that day spoke to Valley News Team's Joshua Peguero. He says it was an accident and it still weighs on his conscience.
A Fargo man says he felt the need to speak up after our whistleblower story.
I'm sorry that the lady was sick. I'm sorry that she died, but we did not kill that poor lady. And it weighs on my conscience all the time.
He didn't want his identity revealed, but he was the driver for Maximi and Company up until he says he was fired. He drove the bus that 78-year-old Yvonne Marwig was riding on February 8th.
I have to deal with it. I have to move on. I can't worry about it. I have a family to feed.
Marwig was heading to hospice care at a retirement community in Breckenridge, Minnesota, when she fell on the bus. Her daughter says she died 2 days later.
That was a frightening sight for me, to see someone, hurt on the floor that I'm transporting.
An incident report from the Wilkin County Sheriff's Office states that Marwig fell off a cot she was strapped to and left on the bus's floor from Kent to Breckenridge. The driver says he couldn't pick her up because she was too heavy.
If they didn't bring at least 10 people, we wouldn't have been able to lift her up off the floor.
Deputies stated in the report the cot Marwig was on was very unstable and an unsafe method for transport. The driver says he told the owner of Maximi and Company before they left Essentia Hospital in Fargo that it was an unsafe method that they were using to transport Yvonne Marwig to Breckenridge.
I can't say that the stretcher was safe when she fell. That would be blatantly sitting here not telling the truth.
The accident was reported to North Dakota Human Services, which says after learning of the incident, North Dakota Medicaid stopped using Maximi and Company. In Fargo, Joshua Peguero, Valley News Live.
The daughter of Yvonne Marwig may pursue legal action against Maximi and Company. If you need help uncovering fraud and corruption in your community, call our whistleblower hotline 237-6576 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth. A Devils Lake police officer was arrested for drunk driving, according to the North Dakota Highway Patrol. Authorities say 23-year-old Bryce Massett was driving a 2006 Dodge Ram pickup when his vehicle rolled shortly after 1 Thursday morning in the city limits. Massett was arrested for driving under the influence. The Highway Patrol said it was called to cover the crash at the request of the police department. The Devils Lake police haven't responded yet to our request for comment. We now know new gruesome details in a double homicide case near Bemidji. 45-year-old Darren Stevie is charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder after court documents state he shot and killed 2 Minnesota men, dismembered their bodies, and tossed them into a fire pit on January 28th. The remains of 39-year-old Adam Thorpe and 41-year-old Jason McDonough were found by law enforcement in Eccles Township in Beltrami County, Minnesota, 1 week later. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie joins us live in the studio now with more on this story. Courtney?
Andrea, authorities say Stevie invited both men to his home to talk about trafficking meth. But when they arrived, Stevie shot them and stole around $5,000. Documents say Stevie admitted to his girlfriend, Christy Trisco, that he murdered the 2 men in his garage and took the cash, but that he didn't find any meth. Law enforcement was first contacted by the men's family after they weren't heard from in a week. Stevie had one of the men's vehicles and he was questioned by law enforcement. Authorities later found an incriminating text on Stevie's phone after he gave them permission to download the data. Court documents say Stevie met one of the men in prison. Investigators say 54-year-old Daniel Lindy helped Stevie dig and build a bonfire to burn the bodies, and that he later helped Stevie move their bodies into the fire. A medical examiner later determined both Thorpe and McDonough were victims of multiple gunshot wounds and homicidal violence. Andrea?
All right, thank you, Courtney. Officials say both Trisco and Lindy are being charged with 2 felony counts, each of aiding an offender. Stevie has been in jail since February 5th for violating the conditions of his parole. The Statue of Liberty replica located on Fargo's Main Avenue Bridge Plaza has been stolen. The Fargo Police Department posted on its Facebook page asking for help in returning the iconic piece back to its rightful place. The statue was dedicated nearly 70 years ago and is the focal point of the Fargo Park District's Statue of Liberty Park. Mayor Tim Mahoney is also asking the public to help in returning the statue. He says if Lady Liberty is returned within the next week, no charges will be filed. In North Dakota, 1/3 of high school students say they've had alcohol within the last month, and more than half of them say they either drink at their home or at a friend's house. That's why a Valley City program is challenging local parents to step up by locking up their alcohol and putting an end to house parties.
We know that house parties are a main setting for where underage drinking takes place, and the misperception that we're dealing with is that they're safer if they're in my house. It's safer for them to drink if they are in my house. And the truth is that they are not. They're not safer. It doesn't prevent them from drinking in other places.
The program is already proving its worth. Data shows more Valley City families are having conversations about alcohol use now. The Not in My House program has also received national recognition. As North Dakota continues to receive new election equipment, a new law going into effect on August 1st will give them more flexibility on Election Day. The bill will let counties use part-time workers as election judges. Under the old law, all judges had to be at a polling location all day. Auditors testified during the session that they struggled to find workers because of the hours they had to work.
Allows for the possibility of adding extra people who only help out from, say, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then 4 to 6 or something like that.
Arnold says larger urban areas are more likely to need the flexibility. A Fargo boy is going to have some exciting news to share with his classmates about how he spent his summer. At just 10 years old, Jacob Guerrero stood on top of the podium at the Taekwondo Tournament of Champions as the world's best. He holds 8 district titles and 9 state titles for 2018 and is the first ever to win world titles in both creative and traditional forms. But this champ isn't taking any time off after the win. He's staying hungry, looking ahead to next year's Worlds.
I want to improve myself so that I can defend my world champion next year, or else it will become void.
As far as staying motivated goes, he's got a little help from his 6-year-old sister, Marion, who will compete in her first world championship next year. Some people put a halt to their dreams as they age. One Wahpeton man isn't letting his age or health concerns get to him. He's taking his final ride as a cowboy with a smile on his face and his family by his side. Jordan Veradiero has his story.
Don Mathias was a rancher and farmer most of his life. He just turned 80 and is battling Parkinson's disease and is in a wheelchair. His granddaughter Brittany says her daughter began asking questions about her great-grandpa and what will happen when he's no longer with them.
So we bought a memory book to fill out with him so that we would always have that. And one of the questions was, if you could do one thing again before you died, what would you want to do? And he said he wanted to ride a horse.
Brittany knew she had to make it happen so her daughter could watch their great-grandpa do it one last time. The family began working with Katie Oakland at TR for Heart and Soul in Bismarck, a horseback riding nonprofit that helps those with limitations.
His wife was near tears and she was watching, and one of the greatest parts, other than once he was on the horse and having a fun time, is when his wife rode, and she said it had been 20 years and it was never in the plan for her to ride that day, but then she decided to ride with him, and she said it still feels good, and right there our hearts just exploded.
Brittany said mixed feelings ran through the family's hearts. But as soon as he got on the horse, she saw how proud he was of himself for being able to do it.
I was so proud of him for being willing to try it and do it. It was mixed because I do know it is his last time that he'll be able to ride.
Brittany says she came out to Bismarck because they couldn't find anyone who would accommodate them near Fargo, and she and her family are grateful TR for Heart and Soul was able to work with her grandpa's capabilities and make their wish happen.
Jordan Veradiero. That was Jordan Veradiero reporting.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with No Wait Weather.
And here's a live look outside the Valley News Live Storm Team Skycam Network shot in Fargo as we see mainly clear skies after another warm day with temperatures getting up there into the upper 80s. We have a slightly mild evening, temperature of 70 right now in Fargo, close to 70 across Fergus Falls, Detroit Lake, 72 in Gwinner, but most of us into the area out toward Jamestown Valley City into the upper 60s right now. A little cooler into the northern valley, upper 60s, same thing in the Devil's Lake Basin with mid to upper 60s across northwestern Minnesota. Winds have died down since the breezy to windy conditions we had during the afternoon. Wind speeds now mainly from a west or northwesterly direction, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's what it looks like on the satellite loop, mainly clear. And we are dry across the region with the exception of some areas of showers into north central Minnesota into the northern valley, but they are dissipating as we're losing the daytime heating. Most of the active weather staying well off to our south and to our east with this cold front making its way through. We have a low to our north, but our weather is dominated by this high pressure system that's pumping down cool air from Canada, northwesterly flow. That high pressure system will approach and then crest over us as we go through the weekend. We have more sunshine in the forecast. Through tonight, though, clear skies, temperatures falling back through the 70s, any showers or clouds dissipating overnight, as temperatures for lows will be into the lower 60s in most places, and then rising nicely into the mid to upper 80s in some areas. Most everywhere else outside the valley, though, closer to that 80-degree mark. Plenty of sunshine as we keep that light wind from the northwest. Temperatures around the region today or tomorrow into the 70s to start off with, a high of 86 degrees into the Fargo area. More sunshine early in the day with partly cloudy skies later in that light northwesterly wind. Up and down the Red River Valley, we have temperatures into the mid-80s. As you make your way outside the valley, into the upper 70s and lower 80s across our Minnesota counties and lower 80s out toward Jamestown Valley City and the Devil's Lake Basin. And then going overnight, Saturday into Sunday, a slight increase in the clouds with a chance of some showers in our southern counties early in the morning on Saturday. And we have a better chance of some showers and possible rumbles of thunder going through Sunday afternoon into the evening. This activity should dissipate as we lose the daytime heating, and Sunday's temperature will be a little cooler with highs near 80 degrees. Here's the photo of the day. It's from the Red River Zoo of a couple of eagles. Thank you, Donna, for this one, using the background of the 7-day forecast. And there's your sunshine on tomorrow. And then for Sunday, we have a chance of some showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures cooling, a high near 80, and then 75 on Monday. Mostly sunny skies through Tuesday, up to 79. 84 on Wednesday with more sunshine, then a chance of some showers and thunderstorms Thursday and Friday as temperatures fall from the upper 80s to near 80.
So Lake Day on Sunday might be cut short for a few people.
Yeah, there's a chance of some showers and thunderstorms if you want to head to the lake. Best day is Saturday.
Okay, there you go. Later on Valley News Live at 10, we've heard that nature is good for our mental health, but some green space is apparently more beneficial than others.